Hi, I'm Lisa from sewnlife.com, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this pouch. So it is fully lined, it's got a contrast lining inside and it's got a zip. So it's really easy to make. Let's get going. So to make this zipper pouch you'll need 4 pieces of fabric, 2 for the outer and 2 for the inner. They're all exactly the same size, and then 1 zip. And the size of the pieces will depend on the size of your zip. So this zip measures 9 inches or 23 centimetres, but that is actually the length of just the zip itself. It doesn't include these little bits at the end. So when you include these little bits at the end, it measures 25 centimetres or 10 inches. So that is the width of the fabric that you need. So same width as that. So this is actually 25 centimetres and then 16 centimetres. So it's just a couple of things to bear in mind when you're putting a zip in. So on your machine you'll have a foot. So this is your foot, and this is like the standard foot that every machine will have, and you can see it's probably about 1.5 centimetres, and that goes down here and does your stitching line, but it's quite difficult to get it really close into this zip. So what every machine will do is it will give you what is called a zipper foot. So this is the zipper foot. You can see that it's actually about half of the width of the normal foot, and you'll put this onto your machine, and what that allows you to do is when you're sewing down there, it allows you to get your sewing stitches much closer in to the zip. Okay, so I'll fit that on in a second when we use the machine. The second thing is that you can see here there's a zip pull, and when you're sewing your stitch on the machine like that, when you go past this, it's quite a bit thicker than the actual zip, and quite often what can happen is your stitches can sort of come out and then go back in. Get around it is we're going to start sewing here, and we're going to sew all the way down there so that we don't have to go past this pull. Then we're going to undo the zip so that the pull is down here, and then we'll go back and sew this portion here. So that way your machine never has to go around that zip pull and have sort of like a squiggly bit. So this is the foot, the standard foot, so I'm going to just release that, take that off, and then I want to put the new zipper foot on. Now mine also has a piece here that comes off. Take that off, and then this with the zipper foot is going to go on. So I'll just tighten the screw. Okay, it's all on and ready to go. So have the lining right side up and take the zip, place it at the top of the lining, and then take the outer piece right sides down, so you've now got the 2 right sides are touching each other. Line that up and just pin that in place so the 3 bits are held together nicely, and then we're going to take that over to the sewing machine and start sewing across there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm sewing the zipper. The middle of the zipper is here. I've got my needle coming here on the left hand side. And then what I'm going to do, remember, is I'm just going to start down here so I avoid the zip pull at the top. Try to be as neat as possible because this will be seen when you turn it inside out and see the zipper. So the first bit's done now. That looks nice and neat. So now we need to go back and do this bit. So undo the zip pull. Take it down there so that it's away, and we're not going to go past it, and then just simply go back and sew that first bit up. Okay, so now we need to attach the other side of the zipper. So you're going to do exactly the same process as before, in that you take your piece of lining and you get it right sides up, and you place the zip right sides facing up, right on the edge, but obviously the zip is now facing in the other direction, look. So line those up and then do exactly the same with the outer piece, so right sides down, and then you pin together these 3 edges. So you've got the zipper and the two pieces, so sandwiched together. Okay, and we're going to do exactly the same process. We're going to sew along there. So don't forget, when we sew this zipper, we're going to sew all the way down, but we're going to stop about 7 centimetres away from where the zip pull is, which is actually this end now. So we'll start there and we'll sew to about there. So we still have this last bit to do. That looks really nice. So what we'll now do is undo this zipper, take the zip pull away, and then go back to the machine and sew that last section. Okay, zip pull's out of the way. Let's just do this last little section. Oh, that looks really nice. Nice and neat. Okay, so now you have a zipper. There's the front and there's the back. That looks great. Let's just check it. And it opens front and back. Okay, super. So what we're going to do now is we are going to, first of all, we're going to iron it to prepare it for the next stage, which is top stitching, because we want to just top stitch down either side of the zip just to give it a really nice finish. So first of all, let's take it to the iron. So the purpose of this ironing is actually to iron the fabric away from the zip. So what you want to do is gently ease it away from the zip, both sides. It's ready to take to the machine. So I'm going to top stitch this. I've still got my zipper foot on, and what I've done is I've opened the zip to halfway, and what I'll do is I'll sew to about here, about 5 centimetres before the zip, and then I'll close the zip so that I don't have to go past this zip pull. Now this stitching is going to be seen, this top stitching, right against the zip, so just take your time with it and be really careful and try and do as neat, as straight a stitch as possible. So I'm not far away from the zipper now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift the foot up just to give it me a bit of extra room, and then I'm going to pull the zipper shut. It's a little bit tight to get it past there, but that's fine. Okay, and then I'll just carry on. So both sides are top stitched now, and that looks lovely, really nice and neat. So at this stage you just need to open the zipper. The reason for doing that is that when it gets sewn up, this is the only way to get back into it. So you don't want to have it all sewn up and not be able to get inside it. That would not be good. So there we go. Now the two fronts and the two linings are going to be sewn together. So take the two linings and the two fronts, and they sit together, one on top of the other, and they're going to be sewn all around the edge. But the bit that's tricky are these two ends. So if you go to the end where the zip actually ends, so where the zip pull would be, you want the zip to sort of sit onto the lining. So the easiest way I find to do it is actually look inside, match up the two zip ends so that they're exactly matching, and then have everything else, all the other bits of fabric, sat onto here, onto the main bit, and then all you want on the lining side is just the two pieces of lining. Okay, so put a pin in there to keep that stable. Now the other end is a little bit more difficult because it's got the bulk of this end bit here. So essentially what you want is the same thing to happen. You want the zip to be facing, to be sort of lying on the lining. So bend it onto the lining like that. and then everything else sits on the other side. Okay, and keep it together with a pin. Now you should see, can you see they all sort of sit the same way there and there? Okay, so once you've done that, you now need to pin all the way around the outside. You're going to sew all around the outside, all the 4 sides, except on this lining bottom, you're going to leave a gap of about 12 centimetres ish, and that will be not sewn, and that's so that you can go inside and turn it inside out when we've finished. Don't forget, just before you start sewing at this stage, your zipper foot needs to come off and your standard foot will go back onto your machine because you're no longer sewing with the zipper. So it's all sewn all the way around with this opening. Just one quick thing to do, cut off the corners so that when it's turned inside out, it lays flat on the corners. Okay, and then I'm going to use this opening and turn it inside out. There we go. Now we need to sew up this opening, so turn the edges underneath by about the same, well, by the same amount that the hem was turned under, and just simply top stitch along there to close it up. So the lining has been sewn together, top stitch, so everything is secure now. So now you can just push the lining inside the main body. And there you have your zipper pouch. Very cute. You can put anything in there you want. This is made by this is made with quite soft fabric, so if you wanted to make it a bit sturdier, you choose a more sturdy fabric. But that looks very, very cute. It's washable as well. You'll be able to throw it in the washing machine if it gets dirty. Ta-da! So I really hope that you have enjoyed making this and that you found it really easy and enjoyable. Don't forget to make as many of them as you want, give them as gifts or use them for your own purposes. So I will be happy to see you in the next video. Hop on over and I'll see you there. Bye, thanks for spending your time with me.